Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pathfinder adventure card game scenario. We are with the character Damiel over at the Scorched Obelisk. This is scenario 2.4, so midway through level 2. And I know last time Damiel was at the Scorched Obelisk, it was a really good campaign, or a really good scenario, I should say. So we'll see how this one goes. At the Scorched Obelisk at this location, when you succeed at a check to defeat a Bane by 4 or more, you are dealt 1d4 electricity damage. So always a challenge, and Damiel doesn't have a lot of armor, so we'll see how it plays out. Advancing the Blessings deck, it's a Curse of Daybane. So it says, this is very interesting, it says here, while displayed at the start of your turn, if the top card of the Blessings deck discard pile has the basic trait, you may explore this turn only if you play a card or use a power that allows you to do so. So the way I'm going to play this is there is no card in the Blessings discard pile. So I will say that for this case, I will err on Damiel's favor and say that he can explore for free this turn. So let me know what you think of that rules or that ruling in the comments. So Damiel will explore now. So what's really cool is Damiel has in his hand this mumia. He did decide last scenario to trade with the trader. So he has that cool alchemical item, but he lost his armor. He had to trade it away. So what's interesting is that this does say that banish this card to banish a displayed card that has the curse trait. So I could use that right now, but I think what I want to do, we'll just hold on to it for now, because we are going to get to explore. Exploring, we get a poisoned blade trap. So it has trap, poison, elite. So it says here, so Damiel has this cool ability, of course, where it says you may recharge or reveal a card to add 1d6 to your check that invokes the acid or poison trait. If the card has the alchemical trait, you may add another 1d6. So this is awesome. So Damiel knows all about poisons. So he can reveal this. Actually, he can go ahead and just reveal the mumia, and he's going to be adding an additional 2d6 to this check. So of course it says you may. So what's really cool is it has the keyword may. So he can add a 1d6. The thing is Damiel's dexterity or his disable knowledge. His disable is a d10 plus 4. So of course we don't want to set up off this Scorched Obelisk. We don't want to make this check by more than 4. So maybe the best bet would be to do a straight up dexterity check on a 1d10 and to add a 1d6. So that's still kind of iffy. I mean, right now he doesn't have any sort of armor in his hand. So this is what I love about this location. So how are we going to defeat this barrier but not defeat it by 4? That is the question. I think what we're going to do is we will just do a straight up disable check, which is going to be d10 plus 4. Let's see what happens. So we rolled 4, 5, 6. So we actually failed by 1. Hilarious. So, if undefeated, each character area location is dealt 1d4 poison damage. Well, unfortunately, that is what's going to happen. So, Damiel, playing it safe, kind of got bit there. So, 1d4. So, I rolled a 4 nonetheless. So, not only do we have to take 4 points of damage, so we're going to go ahead and lose 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cards go into our graveyard. The blade trap gets shuffled back into the location deck, and we gain the Curse of Poisoning. Boom. Wow, that did not go the way I had imagined. So there are 10 cards in the location deck. So we're going to go roll a d10. So the third card is going to be the top card. And what we're going to do, let's do a really quick check here. We are on Adventure Path 2. It says here, yes, so if damage is not reduced by at least 1, suffer the Scourge Curse of Poisoning. Okay, so that's where we're at. So we did that right. We suffer this scourge of poisoning. So now, Damiel does have the Mumia. It says banish this card to banish a displayed card that has the curse trait. Well, we really can't stand that curse of poisoning, so we are getting rid of it. And now Damiel also, the last card in his hand is the Alchemist's Kit. He's going to go ahead and display this card. Then what we're going to do is we're going to bury this card to draw 1d4 plus 1 random cards that have the alchemical trait from your discard pile. So we're going to do that. We're rolling a d4. And we roll, sweet, we roll a 4 plus 1 is 5. So we do have to bury this card. But Damiel does get the Mumia and the Fire Lance and the Blade Guard back into his library, or his deck, I should say. Library is a term from my Magic the Gathering days, or I should say my continuation of those days, since I do enjoy that game. Alright, so shuffling Damiel's deck. The Alchemist's Kit is removed from the game for the most part. Resetting Damiel's hand. Alright. I'm loving the mind game that is the Scorched Obelisk. Advancing the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of the Ancients, and we still have a Curse of Daybane. So we cannot explore this turn unless we're going to use an effect that allows us to do so. So since Damiel did lose some time, we will go ahead and use a Blessing of Horus to explore your location. Alright, exploring. We get the Geniekin. So it has a trigger effect, but we did not examine this card. The difficulty to defeat is increased by twice the scenario's adventure deck number. That would be 4. So we have a combat 12 check. It's an outsider elemental Johnny Veteran. Alright, so I think what we'll do is we'll just go ahead. How about we just use a Noxious Bomb on it? Dexterity or range plus 2d6. So the ranged is going to be a d10. Assembling my dice. d10 plus 2d6. We're adding 2 to this roll. I think we'll be fine. Hopefully we won't set off Scorched Obelisk. Alright, so we rolled. Wow, look at that roll. It's a phenomenal roll, which is actually 21, 22, 23. So 23 is definitely 4 over 12. So the good news is that we do banish the Bane, but we have to take 1d4 electricity damage. Ouch. That really sucks. Roll a 1d4, and wouldn't you know, we rolled a 4. Fortunately, we have a Scarab Buckler in our hand, which we can recharge this card to reduce electricity damage by 3. Okay, so we can lose 3 there, but we still have to take a point of damage, and that really sucks. I probably shouldn't do it, but I'm going to take the Blessing of Bastet as damage. Alright, that's where we are. We're going to reset Damiel's hand. He did get some armor, which is nice. He did pick up the Tussa Silk Cloak. He had to make himself a legal deck after trading his loot armor. We'll see how that works out. Okay, advancing the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of Horus. We get to explore now. And we get a Falcata. So this is basically strength or melee check, and Damiel only has a d4 for strength. Not really interested in obtaining this item. It's also a basic item. We're on level 2. It's not going to be useful for a trader, so rolling a d4, strength melee. Damiel's strength melee is d4, so we do not acquire this loot. It gets banished. The boon gets banished. Alright, let's go ahead and we will advance the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of Bastet, so Curse of Daybane says we can explore. We will explore, and we get the Poison Blade Trap again. Well, I think we're just going to stick with our original plan. Just doing a disable check, d10 plus 4. Alright, so as long as we don't roll a 1 or a 2, we should be all set. And this time we roll a 6. So 6 plus 4 is 10. And we needed a disable 7. So we defeated it by 3, which means we do not set off the Scorched Obelisk. Alright, pretty cool that time around. We will go ahead and advance the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of the Ancients, so we can't explore this turn thanks to Curse of Daybane. That's going to be It's going to be an albatross. That's what it's going to be. I really don't want to spend blessings, but you know what? We're going to go for it. We're going to spend a Blessed of Horus so that we can explore this turn. We are exploring, and we get a telekinesis trap. Wow. Arcane Divine 12 or Constitution Disable. Whew. Well, thank goodness Damiel has the Disable skill. So it's a Disable 9. Damiel's Disable is a D6, I'm sorry, a D10 plus 4. Okay, not looking too bad. 50-50 chance here. It's a Trap Magic Arcane. So, looking at Damiel's hand, doesn't really look like he's got a lot that's going to help him out. So we'll just go ahead and roll up that to D10, and let's hope that we're going to do this disable check of D10 plus 4. Alright, we rolled an 8 plus 4 is 12. So the unfortunate thing is we did defeat it, but we defeated it by 4 or more. So that's good and bad. Good, it's banished. Bad, we take D4 damage. Electricity damage. So we only took 1 point of electricity damage. Let's see if this Tussa Silk Cloak will do anything. It will stop electricity damage. Okay, that's a bonus. Alright, so far things are looking up for Damiel. He is slowly running out of cards though. So let's go ahead and advance the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of the Ancients. So we cannot explore this turn unless we use a card that allows us to do so. Damiel has in his hand a Potion of Healing. We're going to discard this card and shuffle 1d4 random cards back into Damiel's deck. Well, he definitely needs to do that. Rolling a d4, which fell out of the dice tower, so we will attempt this roll again. Alright, so we rolled a 1 plus, wow. So just 1 random card. So not very great. Let's go ahead and see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 cards in Damiel's discard pile. Roll on a d6. We get a Blessed of Horus back in Damiel's deck. So shuffle up his deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He only has 5 cards in his deck. Roll on another d6. See which card's on top. The 1, 2, 3. The 4th card. Alright. So we can't explore this turn. So that's where we're at. What we're going to do now is, I do have this Soul Stimulant. Banish this card to banish a displayed card that has the curse trait. I think now is the time to use the Soul Stimulant. We will discard the card to get rid of the Curse of Daybane so we can explore. That's what we're doing. And boom. Alright, we get the Ubashti. So, I really like this card. It just so happens that Damiel has an Ubashti in his hand. So the question is does he want another? He does not have a lot of armor, and he likes this effect, and it also protects him from the trigger trait. So you know what? The check to acquire is to bury a card, which could be deadly. But I think what we're going to do is we will bury the Blade Guard so that we can automatically acquire and obtain this card. So now we have 2 of these in our hand. We can go ahead and discard it to explore our location, but we'll hold on to them for now. We're going to reset Damiel's hand. We are going to advance the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of Thoth. So we can, we got rid of the Curse of Daybane, so we don't have to worry about those stipulations. We get a Blessing of the Ancients, rolling a d4. Maybe since we've gotten rid of all those curses, the gods are favoring Damiel now. d4, we rolled a 1. Damiel's divine skill was a d4. He only rolled a 1. The boon is banished, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and advance the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of Abadar. We can explore. Wow. Alchemist's Shield, level 2, and it has the alchemical trait. So Constitution Fortitude 6. Damiel has in his hand the Mumia. Display this card next to the deck of a character at your location while displayed. Add 1d8 to his Arcane, Constitution, or Fortitude skills. Well, we definitely are going to display this so that we can help in our check to acquire this awesome alchemical loot. So Damiel's constitution is normally a D8, and with the Mumia, we can get another D8. Alright, I'm really tempted to use a Blessing of Horus, because I really want this card. But we'll just leave it at that. 2d8. Come on, 6 or higher. So we rolled 4 and 4 is 8. So we do acquire that card. Awesome. Alchemical. We like it. The Mumia, at the end of the turn, banish this card. And that character buries 1d4 random cards from his discard pile. Okay, kind of deadly, kind of deadly. Let's see if we want to do another exploration really quick before we have to do this effect. You know, I think we will. I think we're going to go ahead and do an exploration. We will lose the Ubashti. Actually, we'll just discard the Ubashti using the correct terminology, and we're going to explore. Alright, well, whoa, hey, how about that? So we got all these cool allies, and now, of course, all their Ubashti fellows are really objecting. We did not examine this card, so it's immune to mental and poison. We have to do 2 combat 8 checks, which is really going to suck because we have the Scorched Obelisk thing still going on. Alright, so 2 combat 8 checks. What do we want to do? We really don't have a lot going for us, unfortunately. Man, this is really going to hurt. So let's see, it's Trigger Undead Mummy Swarm. So that's the keywords. So it's just going to do, Trigger Undead Mummy Swarm. So Damiel doesn't have any powers or items that'll, with those keywords, that'll help out. So what do we want to do? That's the question. I think what's going to go on, man, this is really a tough call. I think what Damiel's going to do, well, let's just go all out. Acid Flask. Range skill plus 2d6 for the first check. Range skill 2d6. Let's do it. Alright, so we rolled 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that was, with the ranged, well above 4. We make the first combat check, but we have to. It says here, when you succeed at a check to defeat a Bane by 4 or more, you are dealt 1d4 electricity damage. So we're going to take that damage, or roll for it. And what did you know? We rolled a 4. So we do have the Alchemist's Shield. It says here, reveal this card to reduce combat damage dealt to you by 2 or to reduce another type of damage by 5 if you recharge a card that has a trait that matches the damage type. So we just took 4 points of electricity damage. We're going to reveal the Alchemist's Shield, and wouldn't you know, we have the Blessing of Horus, which has the electricity traits. So we have to recharge this card, and we just have to reveal that card. Wow. Well, that worked out really good, because now we have to beat this Ubashti Swarm again. And this time, we're going to go ahead and use a Fire Lance. Boom, all out on it. 4D. We're actually going to roll 2d12. You think with 2d12 we might roll an 8 or higher? You know what? We're not taking that chance. We're rolling 4d. We had the choice of rolling 2d12. I don't think we're going to get an 8, honestly. We're going to roll 48. See what happens. Alright, so we rolled, that was a 2. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18. So that, of course, is more than enough to defeat the Ubashti Swarm. So the difficulty did exceed by more than 2. So we don't have to do this after you act effect. This guy is banished. We still have to take the electricity damage from the Scorched Obelisk. Roll on a d4. We rolled a 2. We have an Ubashti in our hand. Recharge this card to reduce damage dealt to you by 2. Boom. And everyone is happy. Wow. Insane. Now, we are going to, at the end of the turn. So what we're going to do is we will do the end of the turn effects. So that means that we have to banish this card, which means we So we banish the card, so we'll discard it. And then that character buries 1d4 minus 1 random cards from the discard pile. So let's go ahead and roll the d4. See how many cards we have to banish from our discard pile. So it was a 1, so we don't have to discard any. But now we are going to reset Damiel's hand. And he does. He is just barely able to reset his hand. Wow. He is really struggling here, people. Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to advance the Blessings deck. It's a Blessing of the Ancients. We can explore. There are 2 cards left in the location deck. Damiel cannot afford to lose a single card, but fortunately he's got the Scarab Buckler. He's going to bury this card to shuffle 1d4 plus 1 random cards from his discard pile into his deck. Wow, perfect timing. Come on. Fell out of the dice tower. And we rolled a 2 plus 1 is 3. Sweet. So that's buried, but he gets 3 cards back into his deck, which could possibly keep him alive. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and roll a d12 here for fun, just to see which card. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we get 3 cards back into his deck, so that's pretty cool. Shuffling those cards up. And now what we're going to do is, okay, we're feeling a little more confident. We got some cards in our deck, so we will explore. And we get the Acid Mantis. Ouch. Not good. So, check to defeat, combat 9. We did not examine this card. If the check to defeat has the acid or poison trait, add 3. All damage dealt by the Acid Mantis is acid damage. Alright, so we got some choices here. Damiel does not have any weapons. He doesn't have anything that's going to give him any offense. So he's looking at a straight up d4. But since it has the acid trait, Damiel, according to his power, can reveal a card to add 1d6 to your check that invokes the acid trait. And if the card has the alchemical trait, he can add another d6. So we do have the Alchemist Shield. All we got to do is reveal it. It has the alchemical trait. We can add 2d6 to our check. So the question is do we want to use 2d6? And I think the answer is yes. Okay, we got to roll these dice. We just need to roll a 9 or higher. Alright, so we rolled 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On the dot. Sweet. Man, Acid Mantis is banished. And now we can reset Damiel's hand. The question is, yeah, we're going to do that. We're resetting Damiel's hand. We get a Potion of Healing. Nice. The final card in the Blessings discard pile, or the Blessings deck, is a Blessing of Abdar. So that's the final card in the Blessings deck. So now we do have in our hand the Druid of the Hive. It says here, discard this card to ignore Bane's immunity to the acid and poison traits. Discard this card to explore your location. During this exploration, add 2 plus the scenario's adventure deck number to your combat checks. Okay, so that sounds really interesting. I think we'll, but we don't want to trip off the Scorched Obelisk. I forget if we need this to get rid of acid or poison. Shucks. We're in a little bit of a pickle here. I think the first thing we're going to do, first order of business, is to use the Potion of Healing. So we're going to go ahead and roll 1d4. We rolled a 1. Again. Wow. So it says here we discard this card. And we get 1 random card back into our deck. Okay. So we're just rolling a d8 here. Seeing what the second card gets shuffled back into the deck. Not too thrilled about that. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we'll just go ahead and explore. And we get the villain. Alright, the villain is Decca Ann Kreft. Alright, last time I faced this villain, it was with the character Drelm. And it did not go well. So it's a human cleric aristocrat. Check to defeat, intelligence knowledge 14 or charisma diplomacy 16. It says here, if undefeated, we have to succeed at a wisdom or divine 8 check or suffer the scourge, curse the fevered dreams. So at least we don't take damage. So it's a human cleric aristocrat. So obviously Damiel has an intelligence of D10, and he's got a buff on his intelligence of +3. Not really going to be enough. The Druid of the... so this isn't a combat check. So the Druid of the Hive wouldn't have helped out. Plus, there's no immunities to deal with. So the only thing we got going for us is a Blessing of Horus. So we're going to use a Blessing of Horus. We're going to be rolling 2d10, and we're going to be rolling a total of 3 to this check. Alright, and we need to roll a 14 or higher. Alright. Da, 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 da. So we rolled a 9 and a 10. So 19, 20, 21, 22. Whew! Well, the good news is that we did defeat the villain. We did close the location, but we are dealt 1d4 electricity damage. So let's see if we survive this scenario. Da, 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 da. Roll the d4. We rolled a 1. Fortunately, we have a Tusk of Silk Cloak, which we can recharge. And now we are going to reset Damiel's hand. Da, 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 and we can. And he survived. Wow. What a phenomenal adventure. What a phenomenal scenario. This Scorched Obelisk is amazing. Very challenging. Damiel shut it down, though. He was victorious. Pretty much down to his last cards. Man, very cool. I'm really loving these scenarios with the Scorched Obelisk. Alright, so Damiel did pick up some really cool loot. He got some... let's go ahead. Let's do a comprehensive deck check this time. I know I've been kind of doing the abbreviated deck check. But let's see what he's got. He's got that. He's got that. He's got that. You can see all that. He's got one of those. One of these. One of those. These Ubashti are really cool. And he's got the Blessing of Bastet. So it looks like Damiel's got a cat motif going on here. Who would have thought? Okay, these are all of his cards in his deck. So Druid of the Hive and the Alchemist Shield. Very cool. Alright, so now the reward for this scenario was a card feat. So Damiel can go ahead. This is a little off here. Let me go ahead and show you. So there we go. So he could do his last item card feat. But the thing is that he's got 2 of these Ubashtis. So the question is does he want to go ahead and get a Druid of the Hive for a card feat? So if he does a ally card feat, he can keep all these allies. He has the Alchemist Shield, which is cool. He's going to have a collection of cool shields now. So, but he's going to have to get rid of that to have a legal deck. What did he acquire? Did he acquire any cool items here that he could trade? So he just has... That's a level 2, level 2. He wants to keep both of these. He doesn't want to trade them. The blessings are all set there. So the question is, so he wants to keep this Alchemist Shield. This actually, I think this is going to be really cool. So the quandary that Damiel is in is that he doesn't have anything that he wants to trade. So that means that he's still on level 2. That means that's, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's got 7 items here. He's got 7 items here. So if I go ahead and mark the 8th item, I'll be able to get like a basic item for him to finish up his deck, or I could get him like, or I could give him the ally check and just keep these 3 allies. So I think what I'm going to do is, it's kind of unfortunate that Damiel can't go to a trader, because as it is, he wants to keep all of his loot. So no trader for Damiel. He's going to go ahead and we're going to max this out. We're going to max that out. He's got a total of 8. So that means that for his choice for next adventure, he'll have to lose one of these allies. I'm not sure which one yet. And he's going to have to get a basic alchemical item so he can have a legal deck. Alright, well that's that adventure. Thanks so much for watching. It's really exciting. And I will have another Pathfinder adventure up shortly. Thank you.